and Baker Mayfield. Peter, who on this list, though, is placed too high?
I'm going to say Jayden Daniels. I think it's too soon. I know everyone's shocked by that. I think he had the greatest rookie season we've ever seen by a quarterback in NFL history, and he got his team to the NFC Championship game after having the number 2 overall pick. It's unprecedented what he did. I'd like to see the body of work, though. And I know if you're a Jayden fan or a Commanders fan, you're rolling your eyes saying, what do you mean? The body of work was last year. He's going to ascend. We know that. Give it another year before we put him in that conversation. I think what Matthew Stafford has done over the course of his career and what he's coming into in Los Angeles is worthy of conversation in the NFC. I think Jalen Hurts is, and I think Jared Goff. All of those guys could have been rated above Jayden Daniels just because he's only played 20 games. I respect what he's done more than maybe anybody. And before the season last year, I said this guy's going to run away with Offensive Rookie of the Year. Just watch, because of all the stuff I'd been hearing from DQ and Cliff all summer. Guess what? They say he's going to be amazing again. Let's see it before we crown him in the top 5 just yet.
David Dennis Jr., which QB would you say is ranked too high?
First, the Jayden Daniels thing, I think that he is right near where he belongs. I mean, I would probably put Hurts above him, but in terms of everybody behind him, I have no problem with that. Jayden Daniels has a legitimate shot to win MVP this year if we're looking at what he can do with that team and how much better they are. For me, the guy that I think should move down, and I hate to say it about Herbert, he didn't do anything. All he did was woke up yesterday morning, there was a list, and everybody's talking about he shouldn't be where he is, but that's absolutely the truth with Justin Herbert. He should not be there at number 7. What have you done in the playoffs? Jalen Hurts, 2 Super Bowl games, is better resume than Herbert's playoff resume on its own. Last time we saw him, he threw 4 picks and had 12 points against the Texans. This guy folded in the playoffs. I want to see, like, we could talk about all of the mechanics, all the stuff that we see on tape, in the pocket, on the regular season. Playoff stuff matters here, which again is why a guy like Mahomes is number 1. Herbert has folded in the playoffs, and he was atrocious last time we saw him. I cannot, with good conscience, put him above some of those guys there, especially Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, it's a fair point. Michelle Smallman on Unsportsmanlike this morning brought up the Justin Herbert gets more benefit of the doubt than any quarterback in the NFL. I know you love him. You loved him coming out of college, Mike. Would you think he's too high, or is there another quarterback that's too high for you?
Yeah, look, this is an important year for Justin Herbert, and everything David said is totally fair, but I'm going to go with Matthew Stafford, right? You know, Orlovsky's out here today.
No, make sure.
Okay,
actually, 10 of these guys on the list, Orlovsky calls him as his guy, so it's fine. It's all right. So
not number 9.
Not number 9, true.
Not number 9.
Yeah, look, I think Matthew Stafford's had a great career, and I think it's close to the end, where a guy like Justin Herbert, to me, with Omari and Hampton and what Greg Roman, the offensive coordinator, and Jim Harbaugh, the head coach, want to do, run the ball, play action, I think everything the Chargers need and Justin Herbert needs to be successful is there. And I just, again, if we're looking at stocks, I would be buying more of Justin Herbert and selling Matthew Stafford, because Matthew Stafford to me is close to the end. Look, they played really well in that Philly playoff game, but in the end, you know, Jalen Hurts and Philadelphia beat them, and I just think we're closer to the end for Stafford than we are, you know, any of these other guys.
Who's the pets.com of the quarterback class? Who are we running away from?
All right, I need this game to stop. All right, so now we have the quarterbacks on the top 10 list that were left off, right? The snubs, not top 10 list. Peter Schrager, which quarterback that was left off that top 10 list should have been on there?
I think Jordan Love should have been considered in this thing. I'm a Jordan Love fan. I know he's had some games where you leave scratching your head, but I thought the injury that he overcame in week 1 on that surface down there in Brazil to get back to where he was after Malik Willis played a couple games, to bring that team to the playoffs last year was impressive. And what he did 2 years ago against the Dallas Cowboys in a playoff game and then against the 49ers, both on the road, I think Love has shown that he can win games, and he has as pure a throwing motion and as little talent around him as any of these guys. So Jordan Love would have made my top 10.
Well, I'm just going to go off of the script where it says Mike Tannenbaum says Jordan Love, Peter Schrager says Dak Prescott.
Oh, I don't play by the script. Let's go.
Apparently.
Wow.
But here's
Mike's got his first 15 here. He's West Coast offense.
This is it.
The reason I'm going to go with Jordan Love, similar to what Peter had, is because if you take away those 11 interceptions, and you just can't indiscriminately get rid of them. But we had Brett Favre for a year in New York. I see so much of Jordan Love in Brett Favre's game from a standpoint of, if you take away 3 or 4 throws this season that Jordan Love gets back, and hopefully based on experience, he has as much ability as any quarterback. I love Love. I think he is uber talented. Matthew Golden was my number 1 receiver. I really think this could be a massive year for them. He just has to make 1 or 2 less bad decisions a game, and we're talking about an absolute superstar.
Before we get to David, just overall, can we just make a decision as sports fans and analysts and critics and media members as are we factoring in their teammates or not? Because, you just said, Peter, and it's fair, Jordan Love was throwing to no one. Okay, so that works in his favor. And so Jalen Hurts was throwing to everyone. That works against him. Joe Burrow has the greatest wide receivers in the history of the sport, arguably, and somehow he's too low. Lamar Jackson has no one, then he has someone, and now we don't know where to rank him. And Jayden Daniels has Debo now. So if Debo is good this year, we're going to move Jayden Daniels back? Like, which one is it? I don't know what the argument is anymore as to whether or not, David Dennis Jr., we factor in the weapons and who they're playing with. But obviously, the question goes to you in terms of who was snubbed off this list.
I'm just over here shocked. Mike T has been working as Baker Mayfield's agent for the last week, and he does not put him at number one. I'm surprised we haven't gotten that going. I knew he was going to bump Matthew Stafford down because he's been on the Baker Mayfield propaganda trade for a while, but we haven't even mentioned his name yet. But for me, the guy who is not in the top 10, who I think deserves consideration, is CJ Stroud. And we were talking about people around you. He had the 29th ranked offensive line last year, and he still he turned the ball over a little bit more, but he still had a pretty good season. And they're talking about the sophomore slump. I think that is the thing in the past. This team is better now. They've improved. I know they lost Thompson, but they've improved the offensive line around him. I think that he'll have some more better weapons. Nick Chubb over there to hand the ball off to. I think CJ Stroud is going to have a bounce back year. By the end of this season, we'll be talking about him in the top 10 for sure.
20 touchdowns, 12 interceptions in that sophomore season for Stroud. News yesterday out of Jersey/New York. The New York Jets, I'd have him 4.
4 over who? Burrow?
What does Burrow have that Jalen Hurts would want? Because Jalen Hurts has got a lot that Burrow would want. Now, Jalen Hurts has a Super Bowl title last year. That doesn't mean they're going to win it all this year. Are they going to win the NFC East? The Philadelphia Eagles, Mike Tannenbaum, going to win the NFC East.
Probably. But gosh, I love Jayden Daniels. I mean, I really like.
Mike's the one who had him in the top 2 or 3.
Yeah, I do. I mean, if you just watch Jayden Daniels play last year and you stripped away that he was a rookie and all that, he was one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. And if he could stay healthy, which is a big if because of the way he's built, and you hope he never misses a game, Jayden Daniels could be the MVP this season because when you look at what Washington has done, and give Adam Peters and Dan Quinn a ton of credit, Laramie Tunsil at left tackle, Josh Conley, a first-round pick at right tackle, and then, oh, by the way, let's give the ball to Deebo Samuel on long handoff, jet sweeps, behind the line of scrimmage. Like, this offense is going to be better. And if you look at history, guys, history tells us that you see a big leap from year 1 to year 2. It's the first offseason that they have. We know what Cliff Kingsbury has done with quarterbacks. So, to me, Jayden Daniels is like NVIDIA stock. It just keeps going up.
Nice. Jensen Huang, shout out, CEO of NVIDIA, and that is Dan Quinn right now. He is the CEO of my Commanders team. Their stock is through the roof.
Has Jensen Huang and Dan Quinn ever been in the same sense?
As much as I love First Take and Get Up, I'm a CNBC guy sometimes too, okay? I like to see where the market's going, and the market is ascending for the Washington